Hey, it's Aja. Today I really wanted to show you guys how I get some really pretty beachy waves in my locks. My deodorant's going to be showing in my armpits pretty much every time I lift my hands, and I need you to be okay with that. Now we're working with freshly washed hair and freshly washed Aja, so first of all, seeing my deodorant means I'm clean. Leave me alone. Anyway, so we start by making the part on one side and then cross over, make the same part on the other side. Totally with my fingers. We're going to just zigzag across, back and forth, a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other side, a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other side. And this is how we're parting our hair in two. We're going to try and end up with two equal portions on each side of my head, but if they're not exactly equal, that's kind of okay too. And the reason we're zigzagging is because if we make a straight line part to do this, we're gonna end up with a straight line kind of stuck in the hair at the end, and maybe I won't want my scalp to show, at the end. So now you see we have two sides. A zigzag part has been created. It's not perfect. It literally doesn't have to be perfect. Also, I clearly was doing this style on freshly bleached roots, and they're a bit lighter than the rest of my hair, so if you think you see a bald spot, you don't. But anyways, so now we start French braiding. I'm just taking the very top portion. Actually, I'm not French braiding, I'm twisting. So we're starting with a flat twist, and we're gonna flat twist basically until we almost get to my nape, and then we're gonna turn it into a braid. So are we there yet? We're just about there. We're gonna now divide this into three. You see that? Now we're dividing the last portion of my hair into three, and then we start to braid. And the reason we start with a flat twist and then braid is because we're trying to make it as easy as possible, and a cornrow or a French braid is a bit harder to do than a flat twist. Also because I want beachy waves. But from the start of this, when I only have a little bit of hair in my hands, if I'm braiding, I'm gonna end up with really tight curls at the top of my head and looser curls at the bottom, and I want the whole thing to be looser curls. So we flat twist at the top, and then when we get to the bottom near the nape, we braid all the way down and then secure that little bottom bit, little braid, with a rubber band. Well, not a rubber band, an elastic, something that is hopefully not going to rip your hair out at the end. And as you can see, I'm really braiding as far as I really can, but you don't have to do it as much as I am. The reason I'm braiding so far down and tightly is because I really hate how it looks when you finish taking down the braid out and your ends are straight. So I try personally to always make sure that my ends will be curly too by braiding it all the way down. And then I try to secure the elastic not around the very tippy end of my hair so that it does not break it off when I take it out. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Flat twist from as far top as I can to near the nape, and then braid the rest. Yeah, my glass is getting stuck, but anyway. And don't mind you see me smiling at the phone. Okay, I was on the phone with somebody at the time, but that's not part of the video. Okay. Anyways, so we get down to the nape of the neck, and then you start to braid. And this may seem like a slow going tutorial for some of you guys, but the reason I am letting it play at normal speed is so that you can actually see in real time everything that I'm doing. And that's important not only because I want you to be able to copy it, but to see, hey, this entire process is really fast. You can have your hair set and ready in this little braid out in just like, as you can see, 5-ish minutes. Super quick. Maybe a little bit more than 5 minutes, but mostly that's because I'm trying to show you while I do it. I could do it faster than this if it wasn't for y'all. And so could you. That's my point. So could you. Something else to keep in mind while you do this style is that you're doing it on moist or wet hair, right? Which means it's gonna dry. As it dries, shrinkage is still a thing that happens. Your hair's gonna try and get tighter. So make sure you're not pulling too tight while you secure all this. Sometimes I reach back and I take the few locks that are towards the nape of my neck and I'll just pull them a little slack, because I don't want this style to be too tight that when it dries it's pulling on my scalp, on my roots. I don't want that. I want it to be tight enough to create the curls that I want, but loose enough to be comfortable, to sleep in, to go around my day in. Now you see I folded up the end, and now I secure it with that elastic once again. Doobie doobie doo. And we're good to go. Now you could leave it like this, just as like 2 ponytails. You can wear this in public. You can see that this is a wearable style. But I don't like it like that. It's hard to make it lay flat straight back like that. So what I tend to do is I'll either bring them forward to lay on my shoulders, or I'll make a bun by just folding one end under, folding the other end under, and take my big elastic or scrunchie and bam, bring it around town. And that's a bun. That's as good of a bun as I need it to be. It's secure. It's actually not that secure, but it's very easy to do and very easy to fix. At the time of making this video, I didn't know it was gonna be a voiceover, so that's why you see me chit-chatting. But anyways, this is after I slept on it for 2 nights, and this is that next night. I was like, I don't really feel like sleeping on it again. I don't love it as a hairstyle either. I'll keep it as a hairstyle because it looks neat and it's fine, but I prefer the braid out. So let's see the braid out. And mind you, I'd like to let you know that at the time of making this recording, I had been doing a little bit of drinking. So with that being said, I don't quite stop separating the curls at the point that I may have if I was sober. But anyways, start by trying to take out those elastics. And this is why it's important to have a good quality elastic. You don't want a rubber band that's going to get all tangled up in your hair like mine did. I did just cut about 60 seconds out. So if you're still wondering about the real time amount of time that this whole process takes, I fought with that rubber band for about 60 seconds. You can be smarter than me by carrying some little nail scissors or something to cut the rubber band out of your hair, but you do always risk the chance of accidentally cutting your hair, so be careful. And then you see here I am unraveling the braid. I'm not doing too much separating yet, and part of the reason is because I don't want to mess up the curls too much, because I'm going to bed. I'm gonna put a bonnet on these and go to bed. So understand that if I was gonna go out after this, I would separate the curls more, but I am literally gonna go to sleep after this, and I don't want to ruin the curls. One step that I forgot to mention in here is that after you braid the braids and you secure the rubber band, while your hair is still wet, that's a good time to put some foaming mousse on your hair. Should I have told you that earlier in the process? Maybe. But just so you know, I was on a trip. I didn't have any mousse. So this is how it turned out without mousse. If I'd had some mousse, I would have put it on my hair after the braids while it was still wet, but I didn't have it. So there you go. And this is the version that I'm going to sleep with. And if you want to see how it really looks after I've like separated all the curls, just kind of imagine. Just look at how I'm shaking it and imagine. You know how it looks. You can get it. I don't want to do it, like I said, in this video because I want to keep the curls clumped together so I can sleep on it without ruining it. So, but you have the imagination, you have the skill, you can see it. I believe you can. The beachy waves. This is the end of the video. So I hope that this was helpful to you. And if it was not, go ahead and comment that. I'll do it again. I'll do it over. I'll do it over with makeup on. Anyways, so bye.